Nadeem here with PC.Solutions.Net. We are a MSP in the Houston area, Houston, Texas. One of the things that we've been getting a few questions around is it important to update software and install patches? So let me start by saying this. Approximately 80% of companies that had a breach or failed an audit, it could have been prevented with a simple patch or a configuration change. 93% of reported breaches were completely avoidable. The next question is how? We'll get into that. If you are here and you find the content helpful, please go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell button so you get reminded when we release a new video. We release about 3-4 videos per week. So we're going to talk about the importance of hot fixes and patches. This is something that a lot of the enterprises have figured out, and they have a process in place to patch and update software. However, even in the enterprise space, things can be done better, and a lot of headaches can be avoided. Without patching, it's like a vendor found an issue, they fixed it. The hard work was already done, but then the customer side, the users, failed to apply that update. The easy part was not done. There's a lot of exploitable vulnerabilities in software. Software usually is a complex thing. No matter how you slice it or dice it, there's always going to be some kind of vulnerability at some point in time. And it doesn't matter if it's closed source, open source, whatever camp you like or belong to, you're going to have vulnerabilities and they need to be fixed. The problem about not patching systems is that those systems become easy targets for hackers. It always helps to have a cadence of patches. Typically, it's a weekly patch update. These patches fix security issues, vulnerabilities, bugs. They might even improve performance. One of the things that a lot of people don't discuss when it comes to patching is how patching helps safeguard sensitive data. If you leave a system unpatched and it's vulnerable, you're exposing your and your customer data. And because of that, you cannot pass any kind of compliance with data protection regulations. Another thing is operational efficiency. Updates and patches a lot of times will improve performance. Updated software a lot of times will include new features, bug fixes, and as technology changes, for example, CPUs change, like when we went from single core to multi-core CPUs, updates would have updated the software to be able to use all the cores in a CPU. And now we're going into like massive number of cores. We're going into powerful GPUs. Companies that develop software are going to release updates that use the hardware to its full potential. So apply the updates to get the best performance out of your system. Another thing that updates and hot fixes will improve is downtime and business continuity. So an unpatched system can lead to downtime. Patch management ensures business continuity. It's an easy thing to do. Now, granted, there are some times when a certain patch may break some functionality, and that's where testing comes into play. So you want to deploy patches in a controlled environment, confirm everything works, and then deploy it to the entire user base. A side benefit to patching and updating is cost savings. Proactive patch management can reduce long-term IT costs, and it usually does. So the cost of patching is a lot lower than the cost of slow performing machines or recovering from a breach. You want to avoid that at any cost. I mean, breaches have been known to put companies out of business, especially in the SMB space. So if you can, you want to avoid that. Now, of course, if you don't patch, you might run into some compliance and legal implications. Let's say if a system is not patched and something happens, a breach happens, your customers may look for legal action because you didn't patch your systems. And I actually have a real world example for that. It was a large company, and I won't mention any names, and their CIO decided that they were not going to apply patches because they had one issue at some point where patches broke some application. So they decided they were not going to apply Windows patches. Well, they had a massive breach. So this company, they made, I'm trying to not reveal who they are. They are a subsidiary of a very large construction equipment manufacturer, and they work with solar energy. And so the CIO decided they weren't going to apply patches, and of course a breach happened. And then all of a sudden it was a huge issue because now their customers had lost confidence in them to be able to maintain these systems. So there are some legal consequences that can come up by neglecting updates. Now, all of these things that I talk about, typically they can be solved easily. Now, any MSP out there, managed service provider, is going to have some sort of patch management or a system in place that does patch management on a cadence, updates, third-party, Windows, whatever have you. The MSP is already going to have the systems in place, and they are already going to have all this automated. A lot of times for SMBs, it's easier, rather than reinventing the wheel, just outsource this stuff to an MSP. They already have the systems. They're just going to plug it in. And most MSPs, their systems are already going to be compliant. So they are already compliant. You can ride on their compliance. So you don't have to get re-compliant on something that they're doing. It helps to outsource patching and updates to an MSP where they bring their systems to you that are already, they already have the check mark, the good bill of health, they're already audited, and they already pass any compliance requirements. Hopefully that helps out. It makes sense to apply patches and updates. Now, for SMBs, that's all well and good. What about user home machines? If users are connecting from their home machines, their personal machines, to company data, you want to include these machines in some sort of compliance around patching. Be sure that these machines are patched. Now, whether a user's doing it, whether there's another third-party automation process or an MSP doing it, whatever it is, you want to make sure that you know these machines are not forgotten and they are being patched. Until next time, everybody, have a great day and be safe.